The congressman is watching our meeting.
Hi, Congressman. How are you? You can go ahead and speak. I'm sorry.
No, I've been watching the meeting, and thank you so much for letting me speak for a few minutes and for having me here tonight. I'm grateful. And thanks again for all your service. Also very grateful. There were a couple of questions that were posed to me by a council member, and we got a couple letters in the office about it. So I thought it'd be just constructive, if you're comfortable with that, just bring it straight to your attention. One of the questions, and I'll do my best as ever to address any questions, follow-up questions you all have. One was about a piece of legislation that we worked quite hard on in the beginning of the year called the American Rescue Plan. And in the American Rescue Plan, there were resources allocated for every municipality in the district that I represent, in the 5th Congressional District, all 79 communities. And Ringwood received, as you're probably aware, $1,198,237 in American Rescue Plan relief funds. And they were allocated for 3 purposes in our negotiations. And one of them, according to the Department of Treasury specifics, we wrote it in the legislation, but then the Department of Justice the Department of Treasury then put out specifics on how the resources can be used, and they were to make necessary investments in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure. So I know there were some sewer questions in, I believe, in Ringwood, and water issues. And so I just want to let you know that guidance has been provided. I can send you the link to the Treasury guidance on this, and communities across the country are actually putting those dollars to work already. And I wanted to make sure Ringwood knew that you could. So that was issue 1. And I know that I've gotten letters and seen correspondence and working with your office on the radio issue regarding law enforcement. And one, I just want law enforcement to know how grateful I am for all they do to protect us and Ringwood every day. So thank you for all the men and women in law enforcement for your service. There are 2 areas where on the radio side that I just want to offer my office's assistance on. One, working with there's potential opportunities for what's called the JAG program, Justice Assistant Grants, and and possibly some COPS grants money. And also there's potentially some language in the American Rescue Plan itself for some of these resources related to broadband. My understanding is given the connectivity issues and fiber issues in the community, we may be able to talk to Treasury about using resources for those purposes, because there's in the guidance says investing in technology and equipment to allow law enforcement to more efficiently and effectively respond to the rise in gun violence resulting from the pandemic, or any issues related to the pandemic. So that might be an issue we can talk to the department about. I just wanted to let you know that I'm very eager to work with you if that's helpful, obviously, to try to get as much money back from Washington back to the district to save money for our taxpayers, and obviously for the community. Anything we can do to help claw dollars back to Jersey, away from the moocher states, and back to our communities is obviously very important, I know, to you and to me. But I want to just make that offer to you. My door is very open.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just ask one follow-up question, Mayor?
Yes.
Or maybe 2. So the problem isn't what you can use the funding for, although I don't believe that the final guidance is in, Congressman, yet. But relative to some of the funds, the funds that we received this year is about 600,000. We're going to get the rest next year. In order for us to sign a contract for the total amount, I think I see in the bulletin here for the local finance board, it talks about that if there's a partial directly of the funding, that the rest should be used by raising through capital improvement or a bond ordinance to fund the portion that's not funded. The other 2 grants that you talked about, I looked at, and most of these grants are reimbursable. You got to put some of this money out first. So we would need to have funds available. There's not many grants, or do you know of any grants that commits the money prior to any encumbrances on the borough's aspect?
Well, in many of the grant programs, you're allowed to get the grant and then spend those resources. I'm happy to work with your office or with anyone on the council on the radio issue and work with Justice, and we'll set up a call with the Justice Department And I'll get it done right away. In terms of I know on the American Rescue Plan resources, those dollars, and I'll work with the specifics. First of all, guidance has been, I mean, enough guidance is certain enough that communities are already spending money. So I know that, and I can, I had the team actually start Googling towns today to see around the country, and they're spending money, and those dollars are going out the door. I was pretty sure that the guidance, Treasury provided the guidance so that we could start spending the money. Obviously, it was out of the emergency. It was an emergency, and COVID presented an emergency for the country, and so that's why those dollars are very important to get out the door right away. Yes, some of those dollars are allocated. There's ways you have to use the dollars, and we'll go over that together. But certainly the guidance is final in terms of being able to spend resources, and other communities around the country are doing so already and putting those dollars out the door. So that I know, but I'm happy to work with you and your team, and with anyone on the council, of course, on on any of the specifics to make sure that we, of course, cross all our T's and dot all our I's. But I know dollars are out the door already around the country from the American Rescue Plan for water, sewer, and broadband.
Thank you, Congressman.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm here whenever you want to talk, and we'll work right on it. And I just want to thank you all for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Congressman.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.